Some people like to play golf. I like to build hot rods. I enjoy showing those cars. I enjoy driving those cars. That's driven me all my life.
My mom always joked that my first word was car, because it's all I talked about, even as a little kid. You know, when you're trying to create something that has a lot of handmade components, and you're trying to put it together just right, and get everything lined up just right, it's hard to make it perfect. And that challenge is what makes these cars so special.
It's not the ordinary, it's the extreme to build something like what we're trying to build. A Ridler car is a car that has to be made to perfection and handmade. You sit back and you design parts, you machine parts, you bend metal, you build bolts. You don't have parts that are made and stamped. You're taking a piece of flat metal and creating a fender. So you're taking hammers and bending tools to shape this piece of flat metal into a fender. So it's, and you're doing that throughout the whole car.
From front to back, everything on this car is handmade. Every panel is made from scratch. Every hole has to line up. Everything has to fit from multiple sources and come together and work.
We tried to push the envelope with this car. Do we improve something? Hide something? Or create something fresh from scratch?
I'm a contractor by trade. I build buildings. I build high-rise buildings, parking structures, but I have a set of drawings to build it by. Building a car, you don't have those. You have sketches, you have ideas, and you work back and forth trying to create something that's going to be unique. Perfection to me is when something comes together as planned and there hasn't been any sacrifices taken. Every inch of every part has been looked at, and if it's required to be 1/4 of an inch, it's 1/4 of an inch, and there's not any less or any more.
Yeah, it's just a car built at this level to go for the Ridler. The bar has been raised so high that everything has to be hidden. All the screws, all the wires, all the normal things that you would normally see on a car has to be hidden. And there's a heavy price to be paid for hiding that stuff, and that is that it just cannot be worked on. It can't be worked on without almost pulling the body off sometimes. Very, very complex. Heavy price to be paid for such perfection.
One term that I've used a lot in this project is automotive jewelry. Anything that attaches a panel or an accessory to the car is cut, reshaped, polished, and turns it into the same treatment that you would give jewelry that you would wear around your neck or your fingers.
Taking something that was already a beautiful car and refining it, maybe modernizing it a little bit, and adding a little bit more creativity and sculpture to the metal, the fenders sloping down. I think he was successful. I really liked the changes that he made.
What I think makes a great car design can be encompassed in a design philosophy that I have. I call it the 4 rings around the car. The car is the center. We have 4 steps, and at each one of those steps, the viewer has to both be drawn in to look deeper into the car design and also be rewarded for taking a step closer to look at it. So the first ring would be the across the parking lot distance. That's when you're walking along and you see a great car and there's something about that car that makes you walk all the way over to wherever it is. You have to go see that car. You get to the second one, that's about 20 feet away from the car. Now you can see the overall form, you can see the color really nice, how the paint, the wheels, some of the detailing, the overall proportions of the car, if they're right. That draws you in to look closer. So the third step is right up close to the car, and that's where you really start to see the quality of the car. And you can tell that, of course, by the exterior. When you sight down the side of the car, are the reflections straight or are they kind of wavy? Do all the panels fit together properly? All the gaps nice? Or then you start looking at those details on the outside of the car, and then you're drawn into looking through the window at the inside of the car. Upholstery nice. Is the interior theme fit the theme of the outside of the car? Does everything seem like a cohesive design? And the fourth step, that 4th ring, that's the one that the owner, the designer, the builders, the detailers, they're the people that get to appreciate that part the most, because you have to either be inside the car or underneath the car to experience those. When you're under the car, as if the car is on a lift, you can really see how the car is built. You can see the structure, you can see the fabrication skills of the individuals that put it together. You can see the engineering involved. Is there something innovative under there? When you're sitting behind the wheel of the car, now you're experiencing the car. Are there little hidden details throughout the car on the inside that maybe you can't really notice that much outside, but when you're sitting behind that steering wheel, you really start noticing some things about it. That's what makes the car really special.
You have the love and you have the financial ability, for one thing. That's probably number one, because you're not going to get through this unless you have that. And the competitiveness of taking something and creating something and then winning against the best of the best. And that is something that just drives you to doing this.